Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We've gone through a number of sessions now. Some of them was a bit more difficult to digest, but on the whole, inshallah, you've managed to master the concepts at hand. Let's now expand a little more on this idea, this notion, the fourth relation, which is that of encompassment. Let's play around with it a bit more and see what new things can come our way. This session and the next session, they're very closely intertwined. Here, let's say in this world, if you wanted to make a table or a chair or anything else, you would need some primary materials such as wood and other things, for example. And then with those primary materials, a carpenter would come and build or make the given table or chair or whatever. However, in the world within, or the inner realm, when your mind wants to generate a table, a mental picture of a table, here, by merely willing the table, one generates the table. The mind wills to generate a table, the table is generated. It's a mental picture of a table, but it's generated. There's no need anymore for the primary materials. Simply willing it, you have a table, that mental picture. And here, the relationship between me, my mind, over the mental picture of the table, this relationship is called in the texts guardianship or wilaya, where the mind is a guardian over all the pictures it generates. And all these are manifestations of the mind. But this is wilaya, it's one form of wilaya, where by merely willing, since it's all under your control, you generate a table, a chair, or whatever other thing, a mental picture in your mind, by the mind, is created, is generated. And we have wilaya over ourselves and over our products, our generations and manifestations. We have this kind of custody or custodian role or guardian role over ourselves. And the prophetic hadith here again, man arafa nafsa faqad arafa rabba, helps us, guides us. Because now we've understood the relation of wilaya and guardianship of our soul, ourselves. For example, in relation to the mental pictures it produces, faqad arafa rabba. Now we understand the relationship between Allah and creation. The relationship between Allah and creation is like the relationship between my soul and the mental images that it produces. Allah doesn't need primary materials for producing or generating different creatures. And this is how Allah creates. Without the need for, by merely willing, He creates. So there's no need for these primary materials. He says be, and it is. It may be instantaneously, it may be over time. That depends on him himself. Now, the point which I wanted to open here is that the mental picture of the table, Okay, it's a mental picture of the soul, of the mind. And this mind or soul encompasses this table. And this mind or soul is present in the table, wholly. Remember the verse, خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِالْحَقِّ. Allah created the heavens and the earth بالحق, meaning haq, reality, is through and through present in the samawat and the ard. It's all through haq. The mental table too, like the apple or any other mental picture, through and through, it's all the mind. So see, this is a relationship here, where the mind is encompassing everything. And the table, the mental table, chair, flower, apple, they're all encompassed. These are manifestations of the mind. And the same applies with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In chapter 41, verse 54, إِنَّهُ verily Allah بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ مُحِيطٌ. Muhit. That Allah, over all things, He is encompassing. It's a name of Allah, the encompasser. And the nature of this encompassing, we derive from the relationship between the mind and its mental pictures. That gave us an idea of encompassment. And this is the relationship between Allah and, but بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ. So everything, Allah is encompassing it. And the very fabric of that every given thing, it's all existentially through Him, through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like the mind and the mental pictures. Now, another point is that imagine the table that you've generated within your mind, the mental picture of the table or whatever else. Let's say you forget it, and then you recall it again or regenerate it. Is anything added to you, your soul? Is anything added to you when you recall it again or regenerate the same table again? Is anything added to the mind? And the answer is, nothing is added to me. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the same applies. With all creation, nothing is added to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because all those creations, it's all Him in dimension. كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Every manifestation, moment to moment, is Him, but in dimension. Allah is present throughout all things, and all things are manifesting Him. So nothing is being added onto Allah. He doesn't become bigger with all these manifestations. That's another important point, because it's all Him, it's all pure existence. How can existence, pure existence, become more? It's impossible. So Allah, since pre-eternity to post-eternity, He keeps on creating, but nothing is added to Him. Okay, now let's go back to us again. Man arafa nafsa again. So imagine that here we have X as the table and Y is the mind. Okay, so we have the table and the mind. Let's go back to those three relationships again. The table, the mental picture of the table, and our mind. So I, which is indicative of the mind, am I the table? Am I the mental picture? No, I'm not identical to the mental picture of the table. I am different to the mental picture that I've generated within me. Am I or my mind with this mental table, are we mutually exclusive to one another? Most certainly not. Because this mind of mine is wholly present in the very existence of that mental picture of the table. وَبِأَسْمَائِكَ الَّتِي مَلَأَتْ أَرْكَانَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Well, in the Dua Kumail, in relation with Allah's attributes, it says Allah's attributes which fill the pillars of existence of all things. Meaning, with any given thing, the very fabric, every thread of its existence, it's all the names of Allah manifesting. You take those names away, there's nothingness there, it's non-existent. And that's impossible. So you can't say the mental picture and the I are mutually exclusive. No, it's wholly dependent on me. I'm the generator, I'm the manifestor. And then, is it a subset of me? No, because me is not divisible. And the coming and going doesn't add on to me or take anything from me. So it's not a subset of me either. And so we're left again with this idea of encompassment. I am the encompasser. The mind is encompassing this mental picture of the table. And I am closer to because the mind is wholly existentially present in that mental picture of the table. And so the mind, is closer to the table than itself. Because it's all me manifesting there. بِأَسْمَائِكَ الَّتِي مَلَأَتْ أَرْكَانَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. I'm filling it in and out. It's all me filling the inner, outer, zahir, batini aspects of that mental picture of the table. Look, this should become more digestible now. And whatever attribute this mental picture of the table, the flower, the apple, if you say it's delicious or sweet or beautiful, whatever it is, it's all mine. That's nothing without my mind. All attributes of perfection you attribute it to, it should be attributed to me, to my mind, because that is generating it. That mental picture is a manifestation of my perfection, my mind's perfection. And so whoever praises the mental picture of the table or the apple or the flower, they're praising me, but they're unaware of it. And this is the same relationship between Allah, the encompasser, and creation. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.